All right, guys, let's talk about slope-intercept form. Not going to be a super long video. This is really cool, though, because it's like the secret code of linear equations. So Quizzical Baby is saying, you mean M is the slope and B is the y-intercept? Let's look at what he's actually talking about. Well, not talking, I guess thinking. He's not thinking about it all. He's just cute. Moving on. Okay. The slope of the line is a measure of its steepness. And I'm going to show you an example of that on the next slide because you've got actual graphs to look at. Steepness. That's the key here. That's what slope is. It's how steep that line is. The y-intercept of a line is the point where the line crosses the y-axis. And in this formula right here that you see, y equals mx plus b, m is the slope, and b is the y-intercept. Now, I'm sure there's a reason for the b. I don't know what it is, but I do need. I know the reason for the m. M, the verb monter, which in French means to climb, starts with an M, and that's what they used, was an M. I don't know who, I don't know why they specifically chose that. My assumption is that they were French, but that's the secret code of a linear equation. So when you have y equals, this number is the steepness, and this number is where it crosses the y-axis. Examples. So here we have y equals 3x minus 1. Well, I know two main things about this line. I know that it crosses the y-axis at -1. So I can actually put a little point at -1. I also know that it has a slope of 3. Now, what that means is that 3 over 1, I can find more points that are on this line by going up 3, rise of 3, and right 1, run of 1. That slope is sometimes called rise over run. So it's the up and over number. And there you go. So this line has a slope of 3, up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1, and a y-intercept of -1. Let's look at this one. This one has a b of 3 and a slope of -1/2. And we'll get to that part in a minute, but let's start with the y-intercept. So I know this line's going to cross the y-axis at 3. And a slope of -1/2 actually says go down 1, right 2. Now the reason it's down and not up is because it's a negative slope. A negative slope goes downhill. And when we say downhill, we always kind of think from left to right anyway, because that's how we read the English language. So you're always thinking from left to right, downhill. So again, y-intercept, where it crosses the y-axis, and slope is the steepness. In this case, -1, down 1, right 2, down 1, right 2. Okay, I can also actually, if I think the other direction, I can think up 1, left 2, up 1, left 2. You still get a downhill slope. Now what you're going to have to do is actually match these things up. So here we have 4 graphs and 4 equations, and you are to match them up. If you think you got the hang of this, why don't you pause it and try it yourself? If not, that's okay. We're going to go through them anyway together. So this first equation, if you look at it, has a slope of 2/3 and a y-intercept of -2. So start looking at our graphs and decide, what do I have? Hold on, let me go ahead and give them numbers. Much better. I organized a little. I gave them letters and numbers. So again, we were talking about the first equation. Slope of 2/3, y-intercept of -2. Now the y-intercept is going to be easier to start with, so start with that. Look at your graphs. Which one has a y-intercept where it's crossing the y-axis at -2? Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Bingo, that one. So I didn't even actually have to do a whole lot of thinking in order to figure that out. I just had to look at the y-intercept. Let's look at that slope to make sure we understand. 2 over 3 means up 2, right 3. Yep, there it is. 2, 3. Up 2, right 3. Let's look at the next one. Slope of 1/2, y-intercept of -1. Well, again, let's look at the y-intercept. -1. Nope. Nope. It's got to be this one. Let's look at that slope. 1 over 2. Well, to go from one point to the next, I did go up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2. Yep, that's it. So this has to be A. Next one, y equals -2x. Y equals -2x. So this time, I don't see a y-intercept. Well, what could I effectively write in right there? Yes, that's right. I could write in a +0. If I wanted to, I could write in a +0, and that would be the y-intercept. Well, of the ones we have left, Which one has a y-intercept of 0? That's right, it's C. Does it have a slope of -2? Well, let's think about -2 is like saying -2 over 1. So I could say that's like saying -2 over 1. So to go from one point to the next, I'm going down 2, -2, right 1. Oh yes, that's it. Down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1. Yep, that's clearly it. All right, and of course we know at this point by process of elimination that number 4 is probably B, but let's make sure. So it starts off with, let's see, y-intercept of 2. Y-intercept of 2? Yup. What's the slope? Well, I don't see a slope. But what slope is in front of that x? It's a 1. That means up 1, right 1. Up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. Yep, got it. That's got to be B. So you're going to be looking at slope and y-intercept, and you're going to be recognizing lines based on that information. All right, that's one video. Make sure you do watch both tonight. See you guys in class.